and gentlemen, my name is Miss Anime, and this is my weekly roundup of all the anime I'm watching this season. What I like, what I don't like, you get the drill at this point. So, basically, we're going to start with the shows that are new and then work our way from there. So, this is a baseball anime, but the twist to this show is that they're not just using a baseball field, they're literally using the entire city as a baseball pitch. And I think that honestly is a really cool idea. You know, it's the idea of using baseball to solve war matters is kind of stupid, but honestly, I just, it's a different concept. It's a very neat concept. Also, I really like the main character. I like how almost, creepily gleeful he is when it comes to taking down his opponents. And I look forward to seeing more of this. I don't know if they're going to do a war story or a sports story. Probably a little bit of both, but, we'll see. So, I don't hate the idea of the show. I think the main problem is that most of this episode is really disconnected and you have no idea. Like, there's a doctor, and there's some priest lady, and then there's somebody else. I don't remember half of it, but I know that it's... I sat through the episode going, wait, what is this person? Who is this person? How is this? Who is this girl? Why is this, I like the scenes of, he grows mushrooms as combat weapons, which I think is really cool. But it's really disjointed. And I hope they flesh some of this out because I actually don't hate it, but we'll see. Okay, so I like the idea of this show. I like the idea that, it's... I said in the preview that this was basically Mr. and Mrs. North, where, two spies who are supposed to hate each other, one is supposed to kill the other, they fall in love. I like that. The only problem I have, and the big problem that keeps me from liking the show, is that the male is just really creepy. Like, he constantly stalks, I don't remember the female's name, Chateau, I think it is. He stalks her everywhere. He, constantly threatens her. He, he gets in her face. It's really just freaking unpleasant, and I don't know if I can stomach this for an entire series. I may try it a little bit more just to see where it goes, but it's very off-putting. Also, I can see why they changed Jim's name. His name was originally Indian. His name in the manga was Indian, and I can absolutely understand, why they changed that, because it comes across as more than a little bit racist. It comes across as extremely racist. So, there's that. I like Chateau. I like her attitude, but I just have to see if her relationship with Song is worth continuing. So I really like the idea of the show, and I like the fact that the main character is just so lazy that he'll do literally anything to get out of doing his job. It's really funny, honestly. I am slightly worried that the show's gonna run out of steam because this is not a joke you can do very much with, but we'll have to see when we get to it. So, this is a very, very, very boring slice of life show. I watched episode 2 just to see if anything happened, but no. Like, she goes to another kingdom, and then I think she finds somebody, and she tries some food, and she just does a bunch of random shit that has nothing to do with anything. And it's just, the only reason I want to keep watching it is because I'm curious to see who the demon in the opening is. But other than that, the show is just really fucking boring. I can't remember anything that happens in this episode, other than the fact that, she goes to another kingdom, and I think she meets somebody in a boat, but other than that, I don't care. The opening is absolute fire, though. I mostly love Astolfo in this episode, because I've been looking forward to another really psycho, insane villain for a long, long time, and I've been missing that type of villain. So I was really happy when they introduced him, and I'm like, ooh, you're gonna be kind of vicious, aren't you? And I think it's kind of implied at one point that vampires, killed his dad, because when Vanadis brings up his dad, he has a very bad reaction. So it's pretty clear that his dad is probably dead. Which is interesting, he's psycho, but he's psycho for a reason, because vampires killed his family. And I think he knew that Noe was a vampire. Well, actually, I think it did. He says it outright, and I was very surprised. I'm like, how did you know that? He knew immediately, and that was kind of creepy that, he just knew. Other than that, they fight a beast, and I don't know what any of this has to do with. I don't know where this show is going. Like, I don't know. It's all kind of disconnected for me. But if Astolfo sticks around in this show, I am definitely going to keep watching it. So I was really kind of hoping that this show would do something to, like, drastically pick itself up. Because episode 1 was okay. It wasn't, it wasn't great. It was just your bland, generic your bland, generic action series. I do like the fact that the blonde one, whose name I now forget, because it's kind of forgettable, but I like the fact that his whole personality is, he's prideful of his sword, and he wants to, and he's mad that the monster ate his sword. That's his entire motivation, and it's okay, I guess. I kind of like that. To be honest, I'm kind of struggling with this one, because I want to like it, because I like the art, and I like the idea that, that there are different groups of soldiers to fight demons, and I hope they interact with these other groups, because that'll be kind of neat. But it's just, it's another story about a kid wanting to fight demons, and they're not really doing anything special with it. So I hope it picks up, but I highly doubt it. So I think this is a rehash of an older story, because apparently Hazel was one of the older. I know this is a spoiler, and I'm sorry, but Hazel was apparently in one of the older seasons, and he died in that season. So I don't know if this is a rehash. I like him. I think he's very creepy, and it's pretty clear to me that you're not supposed to know whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, because in this episode he explains that he's very vague, but it's clear that yes, you can control people. He says that you can't control people. It awakens the demons that even in them when they come back to life, and that's it's off. Something is off. And you can tell that the heroes think something is off too, because it's not normal. The explanation for his pendant, Like, it's really cool. It can store multiple souls, and that's really neat. I have a feeling that his bodyguard is gonna die, though. Like, permanently die. Like, they're just gonna have to kill him. Like, either Hazel's gonna run out of souls, or they're just gonna have to kill him permanently for whatever reason. But, we still haven't made it that far. We know that Hazel isn't entirely trustworthy, and we know that, something's gonna happen by the end of the series. Something big is gonna go down. So, mostly it's more of the hijinks between the guys, and I don't mind that. I think it's very cute, and I look forward to seeing more of this. So this is just more awkwardness between the two leads. I like it. I think it's very cute. I do find it very strange that they're not using cosplays from actual shows. I guess it's a licensing thing, but they kind of made up a character for Kitagawa to be cosplaying from. That's the most interesting thing about this show, honestly, is that Kitagawa is obsessed with this one character, and I have this feeling it's going to be related to her personal life. Like she's trying to become this character because she wants to get out of being whoever she is. They haven't really said that yet, but I have this strong feeling that she wants to be this particular character for a reason, and it's because this character is the opposite of her. We don't know anything else about the main character, whose name I honestly forget right now, but we do know that he's very uncomfortable sexually, and that's the only part of this episode that put me off, is that, there was a lot of her trying to, like, get in his face and, get him to do things like measure her and open her top, and it's weird. And you can tell he's extremely uncomfortable with it, and it kind of bordered on making me uncomfortable too, because I'm sitting there going, you're basically sexually harassing this guy, and I feel bad for him because this girl clearly doesn't understand, that he's not interested like that. But that's pretty much it, though. I wish we'd learn more about him. Like, we know that he doesn't go to school because one of the girls in his class freaked out because he made dresses. But other than that, we don't know anything else about him. So I am seriously hoping that show fixes that, because nothing is worse than a one-note main character. So I really want to like this series because the art is pretty, and the idea of learning about fishing is really cool. The thing is, 2 episodes in, and I've realized that the biggest problem for me is that Koharu is extremely annoying. Like, she's loud, she's screechy, and she's just, I find her unpleasant. I don't think that was intentional. I definitely don't think that was intentional, but Koi is cute. The one with the pigtails is very cute, but Koharu is just extremely unpleasant, and I don't think I can keep going with this show because I cannot stand to listen to her anymore. I don't think it's the voice actress' fault. I think it's the fault of the writer and whoever, recorded her, because they want to make her as loud and spastic as humanly possible. Also, it's just, it's not, nothing has happened yet. Like, they're fishing, and they're learning about fishing, but that's not something you make into a 12-episode anime. So, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last time you see this show on here. So, moving on. So, I like the idea, we now know that the main characters plus the pink-haired girl who, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, so if I refer to characters as how they look, it's not because I'm not paying attention, I'm just very bad with names. That's all. So, she was friends with the girl who died, and they're restarting this club. I think, I don't know, to investigate this girl's death, or maybe, I guess it's just because this girl had this club going, and they decide, and they want to reinvigorate this club, which I think is very cute, especially with the tie-in to them being able to see the future. We don't get a premonition in this episode, but we get flashes to the characters have had other premonitions that I'm not sure we're aware of. So I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. I hope they do more with the premonition aspect. Well, we're only on episode 2, so I would think they do more with it. I hope they do. But anyway, moving on. So, I actually forgot to record for the previous the previous episode. But basically what you need to know is that Gamamon can now, when she's stressed, I think it's a she, maybe it's a he. When Gamamon is stressed or angry, they turn into a really much darker, creepier version of themselves. And I actually like the idea of a Digimon with a split personality. That's an interesting concept, and I hope they do something like that. But more importantly, this current episode is really cute. I like the fact that this poor Digimon just wanted to play with his, the lady who ran this, I'm not really sure what it was. I'm not sure if it's a museum. I think it's an inn, I think. But he really liked her, and he just wanted to play with her, and then she left, and it's really cute. I get the feeling that she actually died, but since they didn't say that, they said, she went to her son's place, but I get the feeling that they were, just trying to spare his feelings to make him feel better, but, it didn't actually say that, so maybe I'm reading too much into that. That the beginning was also really creepy, so I hope they do more like this episode, and stuff actually starts happening, because some episodes, like I said, some of the episodes of this show are actually okay, but I still don't feel like it's entirely a Digimon series. They need to do more to make it feel like a Digimon series. So I like the new elements that this episode introduces. Like, I love Margaret, who's basically Beatrice from Umineko. They share the same voice actress. They have the same personality. I love her as a villain. I think she's very creepy. I think she's very, I really like her. I like the idea that, Richard's family views him as an abomination, and he doesn't really understand how gravitas the situation with his father is, and he doesn't realize that his father is dead, so he's going off onto this battle, but he doesn't know that there's no point, because I think the fact that he just rushed out without listening to what Edward said first is really telling about him. He just rushes head first into whatever he's doing, and he doesn't stop to think about the consequences. I really like that. What I do not like, and what I'm starting to bother me about this show, is just how hackneyed the editing is. Like, we keep cutting to different scenes with people, but I can't tell if half of them are present scenes, if they're past scenes, if they're how they connect to the situation. It becomes jumbled, because you can't tell at what point in time what's going on, where people are coming from. So I have a feeling this is gonna bite this show in the ass later on. I know this is only episode 2, but I'm really worried that this is just gonna become a jumbled mess. like what's it called, Nighthead 2042, but this show is definitely better than that one at the very least. And finally, we end with our retro show of the season. Basically, this is just another cliched story about a kid like I said in the last episode, he's going to pilot school. It's a war story. You have the fat kid, you have the shitty kid, you have his plucky uh, pilot friend who he's and who helps him, who reminds me a lot of Lavi from Last Exile, but honestly, Last Exile was a much better show. Um, that's pretty much all that's of interest right now. I do like the idea that Claire's story about her, having to come to the school and she has to prove, we get the sense that she's hiding something because when they introduce her, they give her strict orders. They make sure they don't want her to go. So it's clear that something is up with her. But other than that, everything is just typical. You have the scene of the nouveau bitchy kid getting beaten, eaten in. I do like the fact that instead of having the main character do it, though, it's another character in the cast, and he kind of uses kindness to shut him down, and that's actually really interesting, because normally it would be the main character walking up and, threatening him, having to fight him, or punching him in the face, so I actually do really, really like that. But other than that, it's a typical war story. I will continue it only because I want to see if it gets any better, and I want to have a retro show this season. So I will see you next week. Sorry, I have trouble articulating. I'm working on that.